start off saying, what's your name and your date of birth? Yeah, off you go.
My name is Violet. I was born on the 5th of March 1934, which makes me an old lady of 81. But my poor mum, I was £12 at birth, so my poor mum sort of she's had trouble with me ever since, not really. Well, I got into show business. I was about 10 when I first started to sing. I sang at the club. My dad one day said to me, go in for this talent contest. I used to go to a working men's club and I would go with them. And one day my dad said, I'm going to put you up in the competition to sing. And in those days it was during the war, just before war ended. And I went on and sang all the songs that Lynn used to sing. My sister thought, my goodness, Dad hasn't put Violet up she can't sing. And so when I started singing, my sister was outside, it was Connie, and when I started singing, she thought, oh, Dad hasn't put her up after all, some lady up there singing. When she came in, she was gobsmacked because it was me on the stage singing, sounding like a 21-year-old, and I was 10. And that is what first started. And I always used to love dancing as well. I used to jig about and I used to like putting on shows because I had the Dolly Sisters. We used to make out, we were the Dolly Sisters. We used to dress up a couple of my friends and we had a good time. And I liked dressing up as Carmen Miranda. I was quite, you know, in a bit of a show-off when I was younger. I used to like sort of performing. Oh, my mum's name was Gertrude and my dad's name was Richard, but they used to call him Dick because he was hard of hearing, and they used to get done. My mum also was slightly deaf. She went deaf after I was born. My poor mum, she went through a lot of trouble, and I don't think I brought her a lot of trouble. I think she was proud of me and my older years, but she had 7 children. She was like a drudge. She always seemed older to me, as they did in those days. But she was a good mum and a good provider. My dad, he worked hard. I remember when I was born how I got my name. He came home from work and my sister was there with my mum, and my mum had me at home. And when he came in, because he did 12 till 12 long shifts then, they sort of did 12 hours on and off. And when he came in, he said, because in the days you couldn't, the dads couldn't be with their wives because that wasn't heard of then. So when he came home from work, he let himself in. My sister came to the door. He said, has the baby been born? So she said, yes. He said, what is it, a little girl? She said, it was a little girl. So he said, lovely, so Violet's going to be her name. And he had a bunch of violets behind his back, and that is how I got my name, which was quite a thing really. And Violet up here is coming back quite a lot now, although it's an old-fashioned name. A lot of people are having, in fact my granddaughter said she was going to name her baby Violet, but I think she may have changed her name by the time she gets married. She's only 18. The first year, I was 12 in the March, and then in the September, in the November coming up to December, I was put in pantomime. There's a group of us, the Cherry Juveniles, and our first pantomime was called Mother Goose. Mind you, a lot of people wouldn't know, it's only the older ones that would know who Nat Mills and Bobby was, and also Stanley Holloway was King Goose in the pantomime. And then from then on, the next pantomime was Cinderella with Arthur Askey. Quite a few famous names because it was in the Casino Theatre then, which was M.R. Littler's was a producer. Then the next one wasn't in this one, but we watched. That's when Julie Andrews was in Humpty Dumpty, and we were allowed to see her at the side of the stage. And she was lovely. Her voice was absolutely perfect. And got an autograph, of course. and I've always admired her. She's been one of my favourite singers as a woman as I was younger. Because when she was in The Sound of Music, I thought, I used to tell everybody, I know her, I met her when she was 12 years old. It's quite nice, really. Now, I met Mick, my husband, God bless him, who's not with us anymore, but I first met him at a dance. My friend and I went to this dance. When I saw him, I thought, oh my goodness, I like him. I said to my friend, who's that chap there? So she said, oh, that's Mickey McGonagall. I said, who? I said, quite a mouthful to grasp at that time. So she said, yes, it's Alan's brother, who Eve was going with. So I said, oh, how lovely, but he danced with me, but he thought I was a bit stuck up. But at that time, perhaps I was. It wasn't stuck up, I was shy. Because he was my first boyfriend, actually. And I'll tell you what he was dressed in. I don't know why I fell for him, really. He had a blue gabardine suit, which was all the coats down here. I think they called them mods and rockers in those days, which was in the 50s. And he had this light blue suit. He always had his suits made for him. And he had this red sharkskin shirt with a navy blue knitted tie. And, I thought he was marvellous. Then he had brown suede crepe shoes with crepes as thick as that, but I still thought it was lovely. I mean, then we started courting. He didn't straight away because, as I say, he thought I was stuck up, but I thought I'm going to let him know I'm not stuck up.
So did you make the first move then? He must have done.
No, he actually, it was at a dance. We used to go to a dance at Harvey's, and he came up to me then, but he looked different then. He had a navy blue suit on, white tie, still had his navy blue knitted tie, a white shirt, I'm sorry, and he still had his brown suede shoes though. I think he used to like them because he gave him a bit of height. But he came up, he was there with a girl. So I said to Eve, oh, he's got a girl. She said, he's not keen, I think he's going to pack her up. So her name was Betty. I didn't like Betty. And she went, he took her out. I thought, oh, he's going home, he's taking her out. And he came back. And that's when he came up to ask me. I said, you got a girlfriend? He said, no. He said, I've just ditched her. I said, oh, that's nice. So he said, I'd like to take you out. He said, would you come out? I said, well, it all depends. If you've really ditched her, I said, I don't go with, I don't rock about with, I don't break up romances and all that. Later on I might do, but not now. So I said, okay. So he said, well, I'll meet you. He said, perhaps we go to the pictures. I said, oh, that would be nice. The Mark at Zorro. I thought, what a film to come and see.
Is it The Mask?
It was a swashbuckling film, swords and that, but I don't think we watched much of the film really, because we've been in the back row.
What was you doing on the back row?
Well, we had a little kiss, naturally. Actually, it wasn't a proper kiss, it was just a peck, because I remember the first kiss he gave me when he took me home that night. He took my shoulders and he just came up and gave me a kiss like that. And I thought, oh, how lovely that was. I thought, don't all over me or anything. So gentle, I think that made me love him more. I've got their photo up on the wall there, me and Mick. My father-in-law, they were Catholics, and I had to sign a form to say that I would have my children christened Catholics, which they do, because I was disappointed because I wanted to get married on a little church, St Luke's Church in Blackheath Village, Cholton Village, top of Church Lane. But because he was a staunch Catholic, my father-in-law, Mick had to follow, of course. So we got married at Our Lady of Grace in Charlton Road. We couldn't have hymns. All I could have is Ave Maria, which I loved. So that was all we could have played. But we couldn't go to the altar to get married. We had to get married at the steps before you got up to the altar. That was, I think that must have been one of my regrets, that couldn't happen. And because it was a Catholic church, I had to have a registrar as well. So it was quite, I was married twice really, once in the church and then in the vestry. We had to go through our vows again for the registrar. So that was quite an ordeal. I know I did lost a lot of weight, which was good, coming up to that. But yes, it was a lovely wedding day. I borrowed my wedding dress and the veil, and I had 6 bridesmaids, 8 bridesmaids, and I had the bridesmaids maid, and I bought the 2 bigger bridesmaids. I had all my nieces, because they used to say to me, Auntie Vi, when you get married, can I be your bridesmaid? They said, of course you can, because there was quite a few nieces and nephews. My brother gave me away because I'd lost my dad when I was 9. So my eldest brother, Red, he gave me away. He was a lovely, lovely man, which is past. But it was I have got an album, but it was all in black and white then. But not like now. My grandson, he takes good photos now. So it's, yeah, you can cut that out if you like. Now Mick was very supportive in the way that he used to take me, he was like my manager and drive me everywhere, all to the different places when I was singing, that I started going to singing in all the clubs then. I'd come away from the council and I was singing semi-professional, which I loved. And Mick was always there, and he was always stand at the back of the stage to judge the mic, how I would, if I was too near it, he would say, sort of go back, and if I wasn't near enough, he'd sort of come forward. He was brilliant, and I don't sing anymore because he's not there to support me. He used to sort all my programmes out for me, for what I was going to sing at the different clubs. And his favourite song he used to like me singing was You'll Never Walk Alone from Carousel, the film Carousel and the show. And he used to say sometimes when I come and say, I was very proud of you, which I'm very proud of him too. Sorry, I'm getting a bit choked. And I wish, that's my biggest regret now, that I never kept it up, because by not singing, I used to sort of do all the songs, I used to know them all off by heart. You'll Never Walk Alone was one of them, and Amazing Grace was another one, My Way was another one. And I couldn't do them now, because as you get older, I think your vocal cords go as well. But I just wished I had kept up the singing, because I just sing now in the kitchen, which is a bit croaky, and I can't reach the high notes anymore. But I've got my memories. I've got some lovely memories. What I'd say, I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. So I've got good memories, and I just think of them all the time. And my children keep reminding me of different things. I keep coming up with different things that they're shocked with. I couldn't tell you now, but I've had a very blessed life, yeah.
How high can you go now?
Oh, and not very nice. But I did used to have a nice voice, but not now. The people say, come on, Vi, you can sing. I said, no, I can't. I have to sing right low. I said, I'm down in my boots now. Well, Lynn, when Lynn was born, I had a bad time having her, but it all passed. She's made up for all that. She was a bit of a tearaway when she was younger, but she was lovely. I loved her to bits, like all my children. But your firstborn has always got something, you know. Your firstborn is always, and a girl. I love the boys, but I can always remember she was a naughty girl. She was a naughty little girl. When she was good, she was very, very good. But when she was bad, she was horrid. But there you go, that's children. She's going through the 2 stage, what they call terrible 2s. But I still had trouble when she never liked school, but neither did I. So yeah, I can always remember when we were told that she was smoking, and we nearly did out. I know Mick went potty. What? You know, somebody saw her in the shop doorway on her way to school. And I tell you, she was only 13 and a half, and it broke our hearts. I remember Mick saying to her, "You're gonna kill your mother, the way you carry on." Trouble we had with her at school, but she's proved her worth since. She's a lovely mother. She is a beautiful mother. She's a hard-working, and I'm proud of her. And that's why all her family, all her children, my grandchildren, they've all done well for themselves. And it's also, mind you, John, he's got a lot to do with it, I must admit. But Lynn always seems to help them out. She always listens to them when they've got things to say. And I used to say, "You know, you're a much better mum than I used to be." You know, "Mum," she says. But I was always there. And I can always remember saying the day she got married, I even went in then, the night before, tucked her up, and kissed her goodnight. She said, "It feels like Christmas, Mum." I said, "Yeah." She said, "But I still, on her last night of being a miss, I tucked her up, kissed her goodnight, said her prayers with her, and that, you know, from then on, and they've been married now 38 years. It's a long time. Mick and I were only married 31 when he passed. He was 55. But yeah, they've all done well for themselves. So much, yeah, all of them. That Peter, oh Peter, he couldn't do anything wrong. And he was a little bit envious, I'm sure. But no, it was always, mind you, he was a sneaky one. He used to do things that I didn't know about, that's come out in later years, what he used to get up to. But yeah, and he used to cry a lot. If you used to look at him, Mick used to look at him if he'd done anything wrong, which was very seldom, and Mick only had to look at him. And he still does now, actually. He's 54 coming on, but he's still very, very sensitive. But yeah, but him and Lynn, they get on famous. And also Matthew, my last child, he's done well for himself. They've all done well for themselves. But Peter, yeah, he always used to, he was good. There's something I should tell you, but I'm not going to because it's a bit rude. What Lynn did to him when he was a little boy.
Go on, say it. Go on, say it.
Well, my mum we was in Dornberg Road then, and one thing Lynn did, Peter, Lynn was only what, she was 3, she was 3 when Peter was born, and they were playing up the front room. All of a sudden, Peter came, my mum was there at the same time, Lynn came running out, and Peter come running out, "Mummy, Lynn pulled my penis." And I said, "What?" My mum was there, she said, "Oh no," she said, "Oh, that's naughty, you mustn't do that, you'll hurt Peter." And I thought she was going to go mad, but my mum was very diplomatic as well. You know, she would never sort of judge them. But no, Peter, yeah, he was, poor Peter. Lynn used to dress him up as the Merry Widow, all in black, and make him swing on the swing. It was there. We had some great fun. They were great kids. They brought a lot of laughter. They still do now. Oh, we had quite a worry with Matthew because he was at my sister's for the weekend. They lived at Crawley then, and we was watching him and Peter, because he used to love playing throwing stones. Peter did. He still does. And we was opposite where my sister lived. There was a church. They always have a church and a pub on the corner. When they was playing round the church, and all of a sudden we saw Matthew throw something, and he sort of went like that, and he's come crying indoors. And I said, he's thrown something. It was only a broken bottle he'd thrown at the wall. He's come in. He's really damaged his eye, and he came in. His eye looked like it was like a keyhole. It was his right eye, and it sort of looked just like a keyhole, the pupil of it. And he was all scratched underneath his eye. I thought, oh my goodness. So we took him to the hospital. They said, you've got to take him back to your own doctor. They didn't even look at him. So we went back that day and went to my doctor. He wanted to put drops in it. I said, no, I want a letter to take him to the eye hospital. So that's what I did. And he had severed the cornea of his eye. And it was lucky, it just missed the pupil, and he's still got a very thin hairline there now, but it doesn't show, it's only not to the eye, you can't see it. But that was quite traumatic, and I can always remember Pete saying, oh mummy, because he came with me to the hospital. My husband was working, so we had to, when we went in, they had to sedate him, and they had to take his eye and see that there wasn't any more glass in it. And Peter's like, oh mummy, this is the worst day of my life, because of Matthew had been hurt. But that was quite dramatic. We had to put drops in, and that was another thing that he got over it, but he's doing well for himself now. He's, well, both the boys, now Peter works for the Mail, and Matthew is a classified production manager for the Telegraph. And Peter's been at his job now for 7 years, and Matthew have been his job this year 30 years. So they've done well for themselves. They've kept their jobs. Lucky really, they did get good jobs. I didn't have worry about them being out of work or anything, and still now to this day they still got their same work, which is the good. I say to all of them individually, you're my favourite. I say to them all, you're my favourite, each one of them. So they all think that they're my favourite, but they're all my favourite. I haven't got any favourite. I lost Mick in 1986, and he'd had his operation. But as I say, we'd only been married 31 years, and we was in Lanzarote, because when he wanted to know the truth. He wanted to know what he had. He had cancer of the bowel, which is more now than it used to be, and I can always remember I cried a lot more than I did after. I cried before more than I did after, because I thought, well, he's out of his pain, but he was in a lot of pain. But he did like a little tipple, which sometimes I used to get cross with. But there you go. He was in the hospice in the end. He wanted to go to the hospice. I mean, I would willingly have nursed him here in this room, but he was in Beckenham, St Christopher's Hospice. They were marvellous. He was only in there 3 days, so he was sort of quite poorly. But I just told him all what I was always saying. I hope there's a miracle, but it wasn't. But I'm thankful for 31 years we had. Some people are married longer and don't have all that, but we were still in love. We were still in love. We used to still walk along the hand in hand with our you know, when we used to go for walks. He used to love walking, and I do. I can't walk so much now, but I topple more. But no, we did used to like our walks, and it was a beautiful marriage. It really was. You have your ups and downs, which you always do. I think it doesn't matter what couple, doesn't matter how happy they look. There's always a blimp sometimes in their relationship, but you get over it. If you're strong enough, your love's strong enough, you'll get through whatever comes up to you. And I think because I was so young, I was only 52 when he passed. He was just coming up to 55. I think it's harder when old people die and leave each other rather than young people. You can sort of try and get on, but you have to for the children's sake. You have to get on for the kids' sake. And I've never remarried or wanted anyone because perhaps it's a bit selfish, but I didn't want anyone intruding on my lovely family, and that's all there is to it, you know. I'm happy, I'm contented, I go out and about, I like my bingo, and I do the Irish lottery, which I've been lucky on sometimes, not lately though, but I had a nice big win a couple of years ago, not won nothing since, so it's all that's gone back. But no, that's all I do it for, to get, you know, to be able to treat the kids, to treat my children, to, you know, whatever they want. If I can help out, I can. But yeah, I have been blessed with my marriage and my children. I've had a lovely life, and as I say, the only regret was not carrying on with the singing, which I should have done really, but there you go. If I could relive one moment, I can't really pinpoint it. Does that make sense? There's so many memories that I would like to relive. I'm just sorry, I can't name them. They've all been great, and I'd love to relive a lot of them again. So, yeah, to have Mick back again is naturally to be one big happy family, but then he's still living in all our hearts. And I still speak to him on our anniversaries and his birthday. I say, happy birthday. And I go to the creme every year. It'll be 30 years this year since he's passed and I've been a widow. And as I say, I know I'm going to see him again because I'm spiritual. I believe in life hereafter, so I will see him again. And my children can have a bloody good laugh at all what I used to do.
When you do see him again, what are you going to say?
What was the idea of leaving me so early? I think that's what I say. Oh, I'd give him a big hug and a big kiss and say, come on, let's go for a nice walk. Struggles. I do worry a lot. I do worry about the children. They're grown up, but I still worry about them and their offsprings and their families. I worry. I just want everything to be just right. I just want everything. I live in a time warp and I want everything to be the same as it used to be. Everybody happy, getting on with each other, getting together, which we do. But I think just to be happy and get on and be kind to each other and thankful for all what we've got, all our good memories, which we can never lose, all in our minds. And I feel blessed, as I've said before, I feel blessed with my family and all what I've had. And the struggles that I've got now, only my health, but I just keep going, got to keep going. Everybody has troubles. There's always people far off worse. Well, I'll say that again. People far worse off than we are. We can always find someone worse off than us if we're going through any troubles. But I just hope and pray that whatever's going on, it'll all be resumed and all be peaceful and happy together again and getting on with everybody. I think that's all I can hope for, really. Just keep laughing, keep on laughing, keep taking the pills.
If you yourself could give one piece of advice, what would it be?
To try and love each other as much as you can, and to be forgiving. Sometimes we all do things that we regret, but to forgive and to live for today. Don't bear grudges. Live for today and be kind to each other, and not to row, not to argue, to just get on with life and be happy. That is all I can say, and sort of leave all the bad things behind and just think of all the good things. Give each other a hug now and again. Tell them that you love them very often, which I try to do. And be happy.
That's all my questions, Nan.
Really? Oh, Tom.
Anything you want to add, or are you happy?
I'm happy. I'm just thankful for you, Tom, for doing this. I was dreading it, really. I was, a little bit. But if it's come over okay, then I'm okay.
No, it's come over really well. Are you glad you've done it?
Yeah.
Has it been nice to relive
memories? Because when I go, you'll have that to look on, won't you? It'd be like a thing to look on. Won't it? It will, won't it? Sorry. What do you reckon Mama say? What do you reckon Mama say about it?
Oh, she'll love it.
Oh, I'm sure she will.
She'll love it.
Come here. I'm almost, my skirt's stuck to me. Do I still look all right?
You still look
Oh, so will that be on the television?
That was broadcasting live.
No.
Yeah, that was live.
Don't do live.
Don't
do live.
That's BBC One right now. That's why I told tell you.
Your arm.
No,
Sorry,
it's
love.
your arse.
Your hands are free. My arse. Your arm. Right, I'm starving.
Right, go and have something to eat. Have a
Look me, I'm
drink.
so hot and I look red. Does that come out? Can you sort of tone it down?
Yeah.
And make me look more beautiful?